You know, Bomb, the last couple reviews, your positive side and my critical side agreed a little too well. We gotta shake things up a bit this week. Wait, what are you doing?
Finishing up the new doodle for our next video.
Is that a chibi microwave? I, don't know. Better not be the Brave Little Toaster.
It's not the Brave Little Toaster.
Looks like the Brave Little Toaster. It's from an indie game. It's gonna be the first one we get to review together. It's also a single developer's passion project, so go easy on it. I don't go easy, I go honest. If you don't like it, then grab a tall glass of reality to wash down that pill. Okay. Well, for better or worse, here's Cave Story. It's not bad. Hey, well, that's good for a game that originally came out in 2004. Must hold up well. Is that why this one's called Cave Story Plus? Yeah, it's been enhanced and reworked more times than Cindy Jackson. Good thing it's ready to put its best foot forward after more than a decade of upgrades, because I've missed out on this one until now, and I've heard good things about it. Which means I'm ready to have them slaughtered by inaccurately overinflated expectations. It's still just one guy making this game. It's insane to expect a single person to expertly craft great gameplay, programming, music, characters, and plot all on their own, so try to be reasonable. Was that a furry just now? I don't know. I'll tell you right now, the gameplay is where Cave Story shines best. Oh, good! Wait, so it's only downhill from here? Not entirely. By the way, the game plays in general just seems to stand out from everything else. In a Metroidvania style, you'll be exploring levels, collecting new items and weapons in order to progress into new locales, taking down the occasional bosses along the way. I really enjoy the idea of how your weapons can level up through those little EXP triangles you get from killing enemies. They max out at 3, by the way. And they'll also level down after you take damage. It's something fresh and new I've never seen before, and it actually plays really well, rewarding the skilled player for their efforts, but not overly punishing the novice players. However, this does have its snags. Once your weapons max out, you become pretty unstoppable, making level progression and bosses a total joke. This game is disappointingly easy in that regard, but something about the way it plays makes it a feel-good kind of easy. But the back of the Switch case calls it super challenging platform shooter action. I'm sure whoever wrote that has never played a video game before, and was probably playing with the controller upside down or something. Wait, but what about the crazy hard secret ending boss? Now that's some intense difficulty. I agree, it's intense stuff. But most players won't ever see that at all. I was nearly finished with the game when a friend told me about the multiple endings. I had already apparently let certain characters die when I could have saved them through convoluted, knowing secrets in advance kind of ways, locking me off from the good ending. Even still, the ending we got was still very challenging, with a tough platforming segment and a small gauntlet of bosses. However, it was a massive difficulty spike from the previously mentioned Easy Street. That's bad level design 101. There was even a bad ending where you could leave the floating island early, but I had no idea it was a bad ending. The way the game set it up for you just made it seem like the next thing you were doing. Also, bad game design. There's lots of gotcha moments in the game where it tricks first-time players into unintended bad consequences for doing good things. You kill a character by checking to see if they're okay from falling instead of ignoring them and leaving them to die. You get locked out of getting the ultimate gun in the game by trading your opening weapon with a character who's trying to help you. And you get a bad ending by listening to your friends. And this was the better part of the game for you? Some of the weapons are just really fun to shoot. The art style of this game keeps throwing me for a loop. Oh, why? I kinda like it. Well, gameplay reminds me of an SNES era game with nice pixel art and animations, but characters are just another thing entirely. Oh, I like the little robot guy you play as. He's a Pokemon trainer with a gun. And he's fighting to save a colony of furries. Yeah, the furries I could have done without. But what's with the random boss and villain design? Some are meant to look cool and menacing, while others are completely stupid. But not stupid enough to be funny, they're just awkward and throw off the charm the game had. While the characters and bosses do seem strange for the sake of being strange. Now that worked for games like Undertale because it was at least consistent with design aesthetics. This game just makes up crap as it goes and keeps every little thought it has, no matter how good or bad. It still looks really good. It does. It's only when an awkwardly drawn furry wants you to feel bad through it through horribly written dialogue that I cringe and hope nobody sees me playing this game. But it still looks good. It just looks okay. And that was a clear segue, Bomb, suck it up. But it still looks good! This story sucks donkey balls like untimely diarrhea sucks away your chances at a first date. Hold up, sourpuss. The back of the case also says the game has colorful characters and deeply nuanced storytelling. That's some steamy hot gas right there, coming from the same person who probably thinks that Yoshi's Crafted World is hardcore platforming. They're trying to sell the game. Well, you don't lie about it. Besides, how can anything be deeply nuanced anyway? This game's about as subtle as taking a dump on your parents' casket at their funeral. Wow, nice. You play as a young cyborg exploring the land and protecting its inhabitants, the Mimica, from a crazy doctor who's aiming to transform them into monsters using magic red flower petals. You honestly said that with a straight face. Didn't even throw up a little in your mouth there with that one. Problem is, you're not wrong. That is the main plot. Come on, you couldn't have been expecting much with this story. It's called Cave Story! Fine! You know what? It's atrociously amateur writing with one-dimensional characters and a plot so childish, grade school fanfics put it to shame. The story has absolutely no idea what it's doing. Its events and bosses are shoehorned into the extent that the story can't make up its mind of what it wants to be. So instead, it fails at everything. Characters were designed in a vacuum with zero idea of how they would actually develop or advance any real plot had it even existed. The dialogue sounds like it's coming from a single lonely, talentless quack who's never once spoken to an actual human being before. The closest thing to a character arc comes from an animate toaster, irrelevant to the story, and villains are shallow, unimportant mooks who can all be made Mad Libs around with any other token generic bad guy in history, especially the actual final boss characters! Write your story to move your characters and never the other way around! Show, don't tell! Be consistent! And for the love of God, if you recognize that storytelling isn't your strong suit, have some friends look over your work or hire an editor before you have the absolute audacity to call your game Cave Story! I broke him. I finally broke him. I lied before. The music just might be the best part of this game. Yeah, it's good. I'm not even sure if the background music itself or the awesome weapons sound effects are more satisfying. Yeah. Pew pew! Sounds nice. Get a grip, Bomb. You said so yourself. This is a single developer who we can't expect to be an absolute pro at everything at once. Yeah. And even though I couldn't find a good thing to say about the actual story, this is one person who still created an amazing Metroidvania to play. It looks nice and has a killer soundtrack. There, you feeling better now? I think so. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a positive gamer being upset with something every now and then, right? Exactly. So now's a good time to mention that several of the tracks really got on my nerves after a while. And I'll tell you in which cave you can stick it. If you're into unique gameplay and a catchy score, then you'll be pleased to hear that they were good enough for me to play this through to the end, and recommend it for fans of the genre. Are you 12? If you're into indie games, platformers, or Metroidvanias, this isn't a bad game to sink a good 6 or so hours into. Wait! It's that short? If you're good, it'll only take you around 3 or 4. The game's like 30 bucks! It's like your game charging you 10 bucks an hour just to play it! Hey, come on, this is the sell it section. Oh, sorry. So, does anybody want to buy my copy? Dude! The positive gamer in me honestly did enjoy my time with Cave Story, giving it a shiny 8 out of 10. Sure, I laughed at the pitiful writing and story, but it never kept me from having a good time blasting everything to smithereens. Though I wish the difficulty curve were, well, an actual curve rather than a plateau, the game still played really well right up into the very end. The critical gamer in me feels like a douche for disliking Cave Story so much, but I will still give it my honest rating of a 4 out of 10. The game's many shortcomings kept me from replaying and enjoying the good parts to their fullest, and discouraged me from even powering on and completing the game on several occasions. With a score of a 4, I wasn't even halfway impressed. Wow, that's quite a discrepancy. Hey, you're the one who went on a rant about how bad the story was. But I can't let something like that tarnish all the good this game did bring forward. I am the positive gamer, after all. Glad to have you back, you wide-eyed dimwit. So let us know how your positive and critical sides rate Cave Story Plus in the comments below. If you're overblowing a game to your friends just because it's made by one person, or if you can't look past one flaw in a game to give it a break, or even critically analyze someone else's honest point of view, you're just playing with yourself. Yay, I'm included! Anyway, let's thank the good people on Patreon for keeping this channel chugging along. Patreon, whoop whoop! Big thanks to Atomic Thomas, Ben, Sid, Denny, Erica, Kai, Patrick, Pyro Joe, Rowan, and Squad Fam. Give them high fives! Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Let us know in the comments what game you'd like to see a positive and critical review of in the future. And we will see you in the next video. Boom! Ooh, good, my toast is done.